In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to install the SRU Rail onto the PSA Jakl upper. This is for the 8.5 inch. For the 10.5 inch, it will be a little less complicated, and anything higher than that should be a little less complicated. There's a little more modification you got to do for the 8.5 inch upper. So let's get right into it. To start this off, let's go over all the tools you'll need to put your rail onto your Jakl. First is a drill with a 3/16 drill bit. You'll need a T25 Torx wrench. You'll need your 5 screws with T-nuts for your M-lock attachments, a 1/8 Allen key, a 3/32 Allen key, a Dremel, a metal file, and of course, your rail. So first things first, you're gonna have to modify your rail for your Jakl. This is if you have an 8.5 inch upper. 10.5 and above, you should be good to go. But I had to cut out this little section right here so that you have room for your charging handle, it could go back and forth. When you do this, I'll show you this side, you're going to cut this little section here, this little section here, and this little section here. That should help you remove that whole piece. And then you're gonna come in with your metal file. You're gonna file down each one of these corners. I rounded that corner off. I rounded this corner off, and I just made these flat across. That is how we got to this. So you can see rounded corners and then flat across here. I would recommend, I did not do this, but I'd recommend continuing this cut down and going along this line right down here. I don't know if you can see that. But that little ledge right down there, go along there and cut all the way down to that. This little ledge here is still really close to the charging handle, and if you yank it hard enough, you can cut yourself. I have yet to do it, but that is still there, the possibility of that. So I would take off the little bit of extra and just cut down to there. Now, your next section right after that. So we've cut off this little section of rail, you've sanded it down, that's all good. Your next thing that you have to do, and I would check on which screw size you have. I personally like using the magpul M-lock screws. I feel like they're a good size and they work really, really well. So if you're using the magpul screws or anything similar to that, you're gonna want a 3/16 size drill bit to drill these holes right here, right there, one on the bottom, and 2 more on the back side. You're gonna wanna widen these holes to this size so that your screws fit through. So now, you're gonna break out your PSA Jakl. And you can just have the upper if you wanna just work on the upper, you don't need the lower for any of this. But I'm gonna just keep them together because I don't wanna separate them. So, you're gonna need your T25 Torx wrench to unscrew that screw and the subsequent one on the other side. And your 3/32 Allen key to unscrew this little screw and the subsequent one on the other side. Now that you have your screws taken out of here and on the other side, all you're gonna do is pop this little handguard right off, just like that. Now you have your Jakl handguard. Now that you have your handguard, you can set the rest of your rifle aside and set your screws aside. Just make sure you don't lose them, have them in a spot that you can access. Next, you're going to bring out your other rail section and your 5 M-lock attachments. You will also need your 1/8 Allen key for this. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your Jakl rail and you're gonna stick it inside of your SRU rail and line up your M-lock slots how you like. I tend to line up these ones and leave the bottom ones a little misaligned. I prefer it that way. But it is however you want. You can line it up here, back here, however you'd like. Now that you have everything all aligned and you're ready to go, you're just gonna take each one of your screws and put them through the hole. And on the other side, you will simply attach your M-lock and tighten it down like any other M-lock attachment. Now, quick note, before you tighten these two and these two screws down, there is a little bit of a gap right in there where they don't quite line up. So, in order to make this not a huge problem later on, tighten these two down, just snug, not a lot, and then tighten these two down, snug, not super tight. Then come back, crank one down here, crank that one down, then crank this one down, and then crank this one down. That's what I've seen to be the best. Your bottom one sits completely flush, so that one you can tighten down as soon as you put that one in. Now that all your screws are tightened down, you have successfully attached your SRU rail to your Jakl rail. And now we just need to attach it back to the rifle. Reinstalling this back onto the rail, there is a little piece on the top of this rail right up here. So you're gonna have to slide that over the barrel, bring this down, and then pop this guy back in, and make sure your holes are lined up to put your other screws back in. Just like that. Boom. There we go. Now you're gonna screw these guys back in. One more little tip. When putting these Torx screws back in over here, I would use some sort of Loctite. I prefer the red Loctite on here because you shouldn't be taking these on and off a ton. You can use the blue Loctite though, but I would recommend using some red Loctite on those to really get them snug down so that they do not come undone. Now, for these little ones up here, they're a little bit of a pain because they do not fit through the rail. But because these screws are so short, what you can do is angle them slightly and kind of finagle them through. It's a little bit of a pain, but once you get it in, it's in. Yeah, there you go, just like that. And now you're gonna take your 3/32 Allen key and boom, it's under there. And now just tighten that baby in. Boom. And cinch her down. Boom. Just do that, the same thing to the other side. So now you've put your rail back on and it has the SRU rail on top. So now you have your new rail system that you can put on lights, whatever you want. I like it because it extends it slightly and it covers up your adjustable gas blocks. You don't have to worry about anything bumping it or hitting it. And if you have a suppressor, you can have it inset underneath the handguard. So it's a pretty awesome look, works really well. Charging handle is just out of the way of all this, so you can still actuate it and you can still use it. So that was the installation of the SRU handguard to your PSA Jakl. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys in the next one.